Oopsies. Hi, it's me, Tony Bomboni ASMR, and welcome back to your recorded session. So, before this begins, if you want more new videos like this or my 2,000 plus other videos, subscribe, tap that bell, and hit all notifications, and check my website, TonyBomboni.com. I've been working on my little rap song for the website to promote it. I don't know how to promote it because, well, here we go. Give me a beat. Yo, if you want a Reiki healing session, I can help you out with your depression. I know that we are in a recession, but give it a chance. Don't be stressing. There you go. So, I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm willing to pay someone to make a little tune for me if they want. So, you can maybe email me a lyric and I can PayPal you $20 or whatever. Short and simple, 4 verses, kind of like a haiku, just like how I did. Very short, sweet, and simple. Doesn't have to be complicated, but as long as it's good. Yeah, so, alright. So here we go. This is gonna be the ultimate final boss story time. Final boss Karen story time. I've been meaning to talk about this for years now. I've been meaning to spill this tea. I met this person 8.5 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long, since April 2014. And so this friendship was a best friendship. So we were best friends through most of the time, because it was very much on and off type of friendship. And I've known this person for 7 years at the time, on and off. And I know I've been doing a lot of story times lately, but this is like the final person for a long time, because these are all people I've been meaning to talk about for a long time. I never had the chance to, never knew how, never felt comfortable until now. So I'm not going to be eating during this too much, but from time to time I will grab a cookie or two just to make sure my blood sugar's regulated in between a meal. Okay, so I'm having my coffee and a cookie from time to time, but it won't be like obnoxious eating, because I know people not into eating. So you guys know how I chew. I don't really like chew like that on camera too much, unless I'm doing like a mukbang video. But anyway, so we'll just call this person bestie or friend or whatever, just to keep him anonymous out of respect and privacy. Okay, some of you may know who this is from back in the day, the earlier YouTube days. Again, if you comment, I will remove the comment. I will keyword it so you cannot even comment their name. Okay, so we keep them anonymous. Alright, so everyone's anonymous on this channel. So with that said, it's gonna be, I guess, kind of a long one. I was in university. I went to UIC, University of Illinois in Chicago, and it was April of 2014. I was 19 years old, and out of nowhere, this is back when on YouTube, viewers can message you on your YouTube message inbox. There was a thing called a YouTube message inbox. They removed it. I liked it. I miss it. It was a good way to contact other channels that didn't have their email or their Instagram in their bio. And so that was like how you talk to other people. And, started to do like collabs and such. But they took it away. And looking back, I'm glad they took it away. And I'll tell you why very soon. So they messaged me in my YouTube message inbox, and they were saying how they had this connection with me. They're convinced they knew me in a past life, in like ancient Egypt, and there's this connection. And like when they saw me, they dropped their mug, and it like shattered. When they saw my YouTube video, they saw my shaman healer or Reiki healer master roleplay when I first started doing roleplays with green screens and stuff. And they were stunned by how much of a connection they had with me. So like they sent this long message of that, and that was the first time anyone messaged me something like that. And so being a 19-year-old who was pretty alone, I didn't have like really friends. I just had like someone I went to class with, and I would just go over to their dorm room, and I was pretty lonely. Like, you know, they wouldn't really like hang out with me too much. It always felt like I had to, you know, I always felt like I never fit in anywhere, and I always had to like invite myself over to places just to make friends, and like, yeah, I never really fit in. So I felt kind of lonely, and I was like really not happy with my life in college, and I really was looking for a friend at the time. And I just got done letting go of like my old best friend at the time, so it's like I felt like, oh, this is like the new, you know, thing. Like it felt right, is what I'm trying to say. It felt right. Like back then, my YouTube wasn't really popping that much, you know. I had like what, maybe 10-20,000 subscribers. Like it wasn't much, you know. And so I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna reach out to this girl. I thought she was like my age. I had no idea, okay? They just had like no picture of themselves at all. And then I sent them my email, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is the first time someone, like, I've been waiting for someone to send me this. And I told them, like, I always wanted a kind of like soulmate twin flame connection, but like a friend. I just wanted a friend, really. I wasn't looking for a relationship or love, obviously, and I wasn't interested, obviously, because they're a woman, right? Like, obviously I'm not interested in women like that. So people still ask me that to this day. They're like, Tony, why it hasn't worked with men, why don't you get with a woman? I'm like, are you that anyway, let me not say it. No, big fat no. Not interested. I don't row that boat, okay? I don't roll that way. Yeah, no. Okay. So you know, and then they were shocked, and then they told me, like, again, that they like spilled their drink or whatever. I'm like, okay, you know. And I thought they were a little dramatic at first, to be honest. Like, I felt like they were more into me as a friend than I was into them. I guess I was kind of feeling that vibe. Like it felt like very like desperate to me, if I'm honest. Like they were like, then like every time I'd send a long message back, they'd send an even longer message, and I'm like, oh Lord, jeez, like I'm like, I can already tell this is gonna be too much. This is gonna be taking a lot of my time, but I'm like, let me give them the benefit of the doubt, because I'm, at the end of the day, they're a viewer, right? Like I have thousands of viewers, tens of thousands of viewers. They're a viewer at the end of the day. Like they could be anyone. They could be a psycho crazy person trying to like hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to have discernment in the realm of the spirit, and in the realm of the spirit it felt wrong, but I kept kind of like ignoring that wrong feeling. Okay, so because at 19, what the heck do you know about intuition, right? You're just still strengthening it or practicing strengthening it. And my life was just horrible at the time. I was broke. I could barely afford. I'm not kidding. Like that was the time I was talking to you guys about, like, I could barely afford at the end of the month a cup of coffee. Like I had to get, to help support me through college and stuff, pay for like a sugar daddy. And I'm grateful. Like I almost like what brought into tears, reminded of it this morning. I'm grateful for this YouTube channel and for you guys supporting my website as well, because like I realized looking back, like it actually helped me keep me off the streets and stuff. And like I'm gonna get like real emotional about it now, but like this place has saved me. Like this place helped keep me, you know, off the streets. It helped keep me off sugar days and stuff like that. You know, I used to like live like, I mean, a little on the edge, you know, pretty dangerously, and it was not healthy, and I was so unhappy. And you know, I had to share this like small tiny room, like the size of like a big closet, you know what I'm saying, with a roommate I didn't even talk to. Like I felt miserable, you know, and I was having like a difficult relationship with my father, and it was just, I won't even go into it, but like I felt horrible. Like I just want to move out, you know. I need to make money, so I had no good solid friends to support me. So I thought, okay, you know, this person was, I can get away from all that now. Like I have a new bestie now. Like we really click and connect, you know. And looking back, if it's almost the same script, she sent me a very similar message, and I was like, no, like, it turned me off, because I'm like, I know how this ends now. Like, I don't fall for, like, if viewers message me so many times those kind of messages, and how much I mean to them, and, like, I appreciate it and stuff, and the love and support. Obviously, if you put yourself out there, everyone's gonna get those messages, right? But, eventually, but I don't fall for it, or I don't reply to it anymore, because it's like, I know how this ends at the end of the day. I'm a YouTuber, you're a viewer, like, we have to understand that, you know, relationship in a way, that connection, and it stays there, right? Like, I can't make friends with everyone, and obviously I have not succeeded in doing that. It has been nothing but hell for me, because I just don't feel like I fit in anywhere. So anyway, that's beside the point. So I don't want to bother putting someone through that turmoil, because I don't fit in. Does that make sense? So I don't bother replying anymore for that reason to those kind of messages, okay? So that was a big lesson in that, like, lesson learned, like, yeah, no. And so this person did end up doing a lot of damage, especially for part of my career, and I'll get into that soon. So I gotta say, it started off nice, but then it was bumpy, because I was just upfront with them. I was like, look, I've been, like, hurt before, you know, and at 19, I've already been through so much with, like, men, and, like, being used and taken advantage of, and, like, you know, like, selling myself, basically, you know, and then even selling myself online. Like, that's when I did sponsors. Like, it was all, like, just, like, I was a product, right, like, for people, and I was just an object, like a Barbie doll. So that's what I felt like at the time. And so that brought up a lot of pain and insecurity, and so I treated them as I felt like I was treating myself, and so they didn't get the best side of me at that time. And so yeah, I was just kind of, like, on and off, blocking and unblocking them and apologizing, and I was saying, like, I'm really not certain, because I've been hurt. Like, people have hurt me so bad that I don't know if I can trust you. Like, you seem like almost too good to be true. Like, you seem too nice, like, you're too nice and stuff like that. But she really was, like, the sweetest person you could think of at the beginning. Like, totally. And I was 19, she was 40. Like, she just turned 40, and I was like, whoa, like, the age gap scared me. I'm like, how can I tell my parents this? Like, I'm talking to, like, a 40-year-old online, you know? So I've always felt like an old soul. Like, I never fit in here. So I've always been talking to much older people, even online and stuff. But that's how I was, like, taken advantage of at a young age, you know? Like, you know, yeah, so you know, back when you could, like, talk to anyone online, and they could be whatever age, you know. But I've always had, like, older buddies online. Like, I used to play, like, virtual worlds and video games and stuff, that you chat with people that were always much older, and it was just, like, friends, like, online friend chat. That's all it led to. But you know, like, obviously you have to, I didn't know this at the time, that because I was so young at the time, like, I should have had, like, a better, like, parental control or management, you know, and that didn't exist, because, you know, like, your parents are busy working, they don't know what you're doing online. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's that. So I think that kind of led to how I sort of, like, evolved into, you know, other stuff, but I won't go into that. But yes, so I was like, okay, but I was like, yeah, maybe I could be taken advantage of. Like, this person maybe is not like what they say they are. They are in another country, which was Sweden, and I'm like, you know, like, how is this going to work? It's like long distance. It reminded me of my, like, long distance boyfriend, you know. I was like, how is this going to work? You know, it hurts that I can't have, like, a next door bestie, like I can just walk down the street and go see them, or take a bike, or, you know, ride a car to see them. Or, like, at the time I didn't even drive. Like, I was so stuck, I was so controlled and trapped. Like, I had to depend on, you know, either family or a train system to take me back home, and I had to go back home during that time every weekend to film videos. And, like, I was so stuck. I didn't have a driver's license, I didn't have a car, I didn't have money back even to buy a car. So I'm like, oh my god, I won't even have money to go see, have, like, a plane ticket to go see this person, you know. So I was like, this is not gonna work. So I had so many doubting thoughts. But then during that time, while I blocked them, there was a couple months, pretty lengthy period of time, where while they were being blocked, they had caught something, and with some random dude, they caught something, and yeah, so again, I won't go into that, but they were so upset about that, and then they like changed. They did like a 360. I suddenly saw their darkness and their dark side, and they got more like agitated and angry, and I was like, whoa, this person's not who I once thought. But yeah, they were basically like, you know, dating different men and stuff like that, a bit in excess, and yeah, so that happened, and I was like, I'm so sorry you went through that. She's like, I don't know who I got this from, but it happened, and yeah, so I was trying to like, I felt really bad, and I felt guilty a little. I never really felt like that much guilt, to be honest with you. Like, all the emotions connect with me. Anger more connects with me, but like when I think of guilt, I'm like, I never really felt that guilty for anything. I've always taken full accountability for my actions and behavior, and I'm like, I don't feel sad that or like, I can feel sad, but like I don't feel like guilty that I did something. Like I take full accountability. If I did something, I did it. Like I don't really feel, you know, I have, still to this day, it's weird, I have a hard time connecting with guilt. But I kind of said it just to say it at the time. I was like, I kind of felt guilty for blocking you. I had no idea you were going through this during this time. She's like, oh no, you don't have to feel that way because it was my, you know, actions or whatever. It you know, it had nothing to do with you. I just felt like really, because she had ended a relationship at the time. At the same time, I unblocked her with her partner of 16 years, and he never wanted children with her, and she always wanted children, so it like ruined her, and she wasted like basically like, yeah, from 25 years old to like 41 years old. She spent 16 years with this dude who like always pulled out, like didn't want children, you know, so it was really sad, and I felt so bad for her. So she like did that in excess now, dating like 8 dudes in 8 months, basically to compensate for that, or like make up for lost time, or like with people she couldn't have been with. And looking back, I agree with that. I used to not agree with that, but now I do. I'm like, you know, I don't blame her, because it's like, if you were with someone that long and you never had any other guy to like, you know, give you some good time, of course you're gonna do that, because you're gonna be like, dang, I missed out on like half my life, just like a quarter of my life just there, right? That's a long time. I mean, that's a long time. So, but unfortunately, like what happened to her caused her to feel more guilt inside about her and eat her alive. And so I felt really bad, and I was like trying to comfort her. I remember like at the time I was still living with my family, I didn't have a car or whatever, so I had to go on like walks or like take bike rides just to call her on the phone. I didn't never tell them I'd call her, but I would always call her on my walks or my bike rides every day. I'd set a time, I'd go on my bike ride and call her, and we'd talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then whenever I get the chance to be home alone, I'd call her immediately and talk and talk and talk and talk. So we spent like hours every day, even like in chat box. We used to use Kik. Before I even used WhatsApp, I used to use Kik, because I had a friend from Norway I used to chat with all the time, and another lady from Jersey who I met on these virtual worlds as well. Like all of them were friends. It was crazy, and then her boyfriend died in a motorcycle accident. It was crazy. Anyway, so moving on. So back to this bestie. Hold on, let me change my battery. So right away I'm like, there's an off vibe even more, and now I'm like, oh, I'm right, because you know, you don't really get to know someone until a few months in, sometimes years. And this person, it took years to really get to know who they were. And so, and vice versa, of course. Like, she didn't know, like, I would be the type of person to just, like, block someone out of the blue. Like, it almost is like an addiction to me. It's like a vice in a weird way. It's like, I will, if someone comes too close to me, I want them out. All of a sudden, like, it makes me feel good to be like, no, bye. Because I value and cherish my alone time. And I don't want anyone, like, I feel like there's always been this, like, shield over me, or, like, protection or whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm just here to do my job and get the heck out of here. Like, I'm not supposed to be too heavily involved with people here. That's part of the starseed journey, but anyway, that's besides the point. So, I gotta say that was kind of like also a lesson in that, right? Like, don't get too attached, don't get too involved, you know, with people. So, yeah, I was like, this girl did a 360, oh my god, like, even knew what mental health issues were, and then I started experiencing them myself, and yeah, then I really knew what it was. But I was like, does this girl have mental health? Like, I started like judging her in my head because I didn't know what that was like back then. I was still very, very young and innocent, and your brain's not fully like developed by then. So like when it started like solidifying, then I started getting all these issues coming up and stuff. So basically what happened was, I did my best to comfort her through it all, and then I made it worse. I just like block her again because I was like, oh my god, these are like, she's bringing up like the most darkest stuff, like the most dark, heavy energies, and I'm like, this girl's like 41, 42 by now, and I'm this like 20, 21-year-old, like, I'm half her age, and I felt like responsible for her problems, and I'm like, I don't even know how to handle these problems. This is like 2 decades ahead of me. Like, I don't know what to do. It's like I felt very confused, and I felt like maybe I was being used just to be having someone to dump their problems on. But then I felt like maybe that's not the case, because they apologize. I don't know, I've always had friendships like they want to tell me their problems and stuff, and then they feel bad that they didn't give me a chance to speak. And then when I'd speak, it's like it kind of always links back to them and their stuff, and that's okay. Like, I like to help people. Like, I like to be there and listen and hear people out. I still do that with friends to this day. Like, it's them talking more than me, because it's like, yeah, I like to help. It's just something I like to do. I like to give people the ear to listen to their words, because sometimes they don't have anyone that day to tell their problem to, so that those are always the kind of friendships I've had, but unfortunately it's very one-sided, and same with relationships with lovers too. It was always very like one-sided, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but again, something I felt like I was called here to do, like there's a reason it keeps happening to me. There's probably a reason I'm here, right? So, on and off, block on block, block on block. I lost count how many times I did that the first 2-3 years. And they'd always still talk to me. It was very weird. And I was like secretly trying to get rid of them from my life, because I'm like, okay, obviously don't you get the hint? Like, I don't really want this to go anywhere. Like, I don't know why you're still talking to me, because I'm like, something's wrong here. Like, obviously. And they were like, no, I get it. I shouldn't have said this or done this. I'm like, it was nothing you said or did. It was me. Like, oh. But they still valued and cherished our friendship, so I introduced them to World of Warcraft when I used to play it at the time. They were obsessed the first day. And we would always like talk on there, and she talked to me about like so many problems, like, again, like very one-sided. Like, I'd bring up something and she'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool, or good, or oh, okay. Like, she'd very short responses, and then she'd bring up her stuff, or when I'd bring up her stuff, paragraphs of messages. I'm like, oh my god. So it's like, why do I always get that vibe and impression like my issues don't matter, but theirs do more? So, I helped them for years, months and months and months. I helped them financially so many times. They wouldn't ask me directly, ever. They never once, I think, asked me directly. No, one time they did. It was near the end of our friendship. They had like a credit card bill they couldn't cover. It was like not a big deal to me, like $65, whatever. To them it's a lot in their currency in their country, but to me it's like, okay, whatever, pocket change, right? So I gave them the money. But there were times, like so many times, they would be like, and they weren't disabled, but they had to wear a cane because their hip, they've had like a very, very rare, like they were even in a newspaper when they were younger, like in the 80s, like commonest thing you can think of, like condition with the hip and stuff, and like nobody had that problem. And this, I had to like extend her leg, and she was like big in the health medical, like she was like a miracle in the health medical field at the time, because they've never seen anything like it. So they did studies and tests on her, and so she was like basically grew up in a hospital, basically, because yeah, that's like all she remembers, and she always felt like misused and mistreated, like a Barbie doll, right? Sounds familiar, right? So like that's how I could relate to her more. We had a lot of things we could relate to, so it was truly, I do authentically believe it was, and it still is, a soulmate twin flame connection. We did grow apart. However, I'm finding out recently that a lot of soul twin flame connections, especially if both of you are star seeds, which she is, because I saw her from the same sun that I was born in. I know this gets trippy and sounds weird, but she basically comes from the same star sun field that I'm coming from, so we're both agreed soul contract to meet in this lifetime. They're gonna meet again soon, and I always had this feeling, but like I would like talk to them eventually again. But right now, a lot of them are not in alignment, and they're contradicting and they're conflicting with each other, and they're angry at each other. Is because of these, like, right now we're kind of in between Earths, like old Earth, new Earth. So when the new Earth shift happens, we're gonna meet again eventually. But right now we're not in the same page and alignment. We've had our disputes, we've had our disagreements, we've had our anger toward each other. But I get it. It's like all part of the soul journey, right? So it's gonna be exciting to meet this new version of this person when all of this old stuff is gone, right? So anyway, I digress. So if you have that soul connection with someone, you will meet again. The rivers always meet. Okay. Your paths will cross. And even when we finally parted ways, we near next to finally, because again, there were several times they were blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked. They were like, okay, we may meet again in this lifetime. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, you're talking crazy. But I get it now, now that I'm, like, I guess, older a little bit, it makes more sense. But at the time, I was like, whatever, you crazy person. Like, I was just so in denial. So, in denial river, I get it, for rivers, okay, the rivers will cross and meet again. They always do, right? So, like I said, swaying back to what we were saying, and she had this old laptop computer, like it would always heat up and burn up, so like she would have to run and get ice to put under the laptop just to keep it cool enough to be on World of Warcraft to talk to me. And that was back when, people frequently used Skype, okay, to talk. It was like a video chat, so sometimes there would be days we were on there 12 hours, I kid you not, talking and talking and talking. That was back when I posted maybe like 2-3 times a week on YouTube. I had nothing else going for me. Literally nothing else. So yeah, I didn't work much, that's for sure. And so yeah, I enjoyed that while I could, for sure, because that went on for quite a long time, quite a few months. And then yeah, so anyway, let's not skip ahead of ourselves. Then I moved out of Illinois into Florida. Okay, so I decided to get my own first apartment. So she was with me through the whole time, from dropping out of university, going to massage therapy courses. Oh my gosh, it's like getting my first car. Like my mom made me, like she just made me, she's like, you know what, we're gonna do this. If you're not ready, get ready, because yeah, we're gonna do this. And I went, like, I think on Halloween in 2015 to buy my very first car, and I was so not financially ready at all. Like, I had to literally like get her to like co-sign, and like I spent like my last penny like on the down payment, and I just barely got approved with my credit score at the time. And so like the funny story is, like, I would have failed my license exam, but the guy was like, what do you need this license for? How bad do you need it? I'm like, I really need to go to massage school. Like, I need to drive there. It's 20 minutes there. Oh my god. And he's like, are you gonna give me a massage? I'm like, sure. I thought that, looking he's like, okay, I'll let you pass. I kid you not, I butchered that like test. I think that's the only reason. Maybe I got him a little excited because that's the only reason I passed. Like, yeah, I obviously didn't give him a massage, but like he meant it in a joking way. But I think he was flirting, and that's really weird. But anyway, I was also not interested in him, obviously. But yeah, like I missed the stop sign. I sped. I butchered my parallel parking. I didn't even do it, actually. I didn't even bother. I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm sorry. And then I like missed his instructions like 2 more times. I totally butchered it, but he let me pass because I guess said I would give him a massage, and he felt bad. So anyway, it was really, really weird. I still don't know how to parallel park to this day. I still don't know. Yeah. Oh well. So moving on. So she was with me through all of that. Okay, I was like super nervous that day and stuff. So she's been with me through the whole process. I remember like I got my first like 500,000 views in 1 month on my YouTube channel, and I was like messaging her. I was like so excited. I'm like, oh my god, girl, I made 500,000 views in 1 month. And I remember I got my first sponsor. They paid me like $800. It was like a teeth whitening or whatever. Or no, I don't even remember at this point. I was like, oh my god, girl, I got my first sponsor. They paid me more than my whole monthly check at the time. I was like really excited, and I was getting like all this new offers and stuff, and so many views. I remember my first video blew up. I got like, I don't know, like 600,000 views in a month on that one video alone, and I was like so excited. And then I started being like shown on all these like different like online sites and stuff, and so she's been with me through like all of that. And yeah, just little blips and memories I remember. But again, I don't know if you remember me talking about like my dissociation at the time, and then like I feel like my soul was exchanged with another soul, but I forgot a lot of it, so I still remember little pieces that sometimes I'm still like to this day trying to connect, like what the heck just happened. But yeah. So then we end up doing like Reiki healing online courses together after a while. So she was with me through like when I first moved to that apartment by myself. I was away from family. I had no friends there. I knew no one in the area, so I felt very alone. So I almost like relied on her for like 2 years straight just to kind of like help me cope with this new reality. And I remember 2016 was the best year. I was thriving, flourishing, on my own finally. My dream came true. I moved out on my own. I was so heavily invested and focused on that for such a long time, and it finally came true, and I was so happy. Like, I remember one day I just like sat down to meditate, and I just couldn't stop crying. I was like screaming, crying, thanking God, because I finally got what I wanted. I got away from that toxic family member at the time, and then I didn't have to do the sugar daddy thing anymore, and I have a best friend, and I was like, oh my god, life is flourishing now. And then at the time, shortly after that, I met my first, I wouldn't call it boyfriend, but like in-person dating guy, whatever. And he was a lot older than me, but like things were legit working out in my favor, and I felt unstoppable. And then everything started to go downhill. You know, so when you get to the top of the hill, you have to start winding down again. Okay? So I felt like, oh, here's my downfall, right? Like, oh my gosh, like every bad thing I ever did or said to someone is now coming back to bite me in the butt. So it started affecting my job, it affected my everything. Like, my friendship with this person was so bumpy, like you had to put on a seatbelt just to deal with that friendship. And I don't, to this day, again, like that dissociation, that disconnection at the time, and then putting the pieces together now, I'm like, I still don't know what the heck just happened. I'm like, to this day, I'm still like not struggling to pieces, because I don't really think much of it, because it was the past. But I'm like, was that year, like 2013, 2017 was the most up year ever. Like, I hate that year. I never want to go back. I never want another year like that ever again. And I'll do whatever it takes not to make that happen ever again. But it was such a dark year. Like, you couldn't even feel like the heaviness of 2017. Like, I don't know if you remember 2017. It was there was some air of darkness to it. It was not good. Like, 2016 was light and angelic, and 2017 was just something about it in the realm of the spirit. Even looking back to this day, it gives me such a sick feeling. And I even got horribly ill that year, for like a good old week or two. But anyway, so I was like, first in 2016 I went over to their country, and then when I met them the first time, I realized like, oh, maybe this isn't it. I'm not really like vibing with them or connecting with them as much as I thought. I kind of don't want to be here right now. I didn't really enjoy it, and that country wasn't really my place, and I just didn't feel like in the mood. I just wanted to go home, and to this day I regret doing that. You know why? Because I took 2.5 weeks off from YouTube, and that, like, I don't know what it did with the algorithm, but that like killed my channel. Like, because I consistently uploaded every week, and because I stopped for like a month, half a month, it like knocked me off the algorithm. And so I wonder what would have happened, the timeline, if I never did that. If I kept going and uploading, would it have helped me? But at the same time, I'm glad I never did that, because I would have been miserable. I didn't like the attention. I didn't like getting recognized every time I'd step out the door. I wasn't happy, and it was too fast, you know. So in a weird way, I almost started like blaming myself for going to her. I almost started blaming her, but then I'm like, okay, I mean, it's not her fault that, you know, obviously. And that was at the time where it mattered where in the world you uploaded, and I didn't want to upload in that country because like it would knock me off the algorithm. So I'm like, oh my god, I have no choice. And back then you couldn't pre-upload videos and schedule them, so I was like, oh my god, I'm literally stuck here for 2.5 weeks. So when I came back, I noticed my views drop like right away. I'm like, oh boy, here we go, right? So, and then I had to start uploading more. And then that was a huge reason I started uploading more. But then I'm like, oh, all right, you know what? I don't mind. Actually, this allows me to be more creative and allows me to work more and invest more time, because I love working. Like, I love to just put in the work. And then just things started going down from there, but I won't go into it. But I was still managing okay, you know, financially stuff. I was still, you know, getting those like sponsors and stuff like that, and everything was working smoothly. You know, I had Patreon, I had all this stuff going for me, you know. So yeah, and then things kind of started happening even faster, and I'm like, oh snap, I'm getting back to it. Like, I thought I was getting away from it, now I'm getting back to it. Like, I did these like big collabs, and I was working with like the GB ASMR collab for Christmas, and then I was working with ASMR the Jew, and I was getting like all these like, and that toxic friend I did collab with, and it's like, oh my god. So that was like my biggest month ever, like December 2017. And then I bought a house, and then I ended up, so I'm not even talking about the friend, but I'll get to that very soon, because again, it's like, I was like, at that time in 2017, I think I spent maybe 7 months not talking to them, and then guess what happened? Like, right before I move into this house, I decided to call them again, because viewers were messaging me that this friend at that time were messaging them back when the YouTube message thing was a thing, and they took it away shortly after that. I'm glad they did, because you can't do that anymore. Like, yeah, like if you knew me at the time and then you knew I had a YouTube channel, you could message my viewers and tell them like, oh, I'm a bad person and stuff like that. So that's what she was doing. She was talking about me behind my back to my viewers and several of my viewers, and then they would make blog posts about me and talk so fed up. I was like, I've pretty much had enough. And then now, not only that, they were telling others secrets about other viewers. About other, like, YouTubers and ASMR artists that I had, like, stuff I knew about them, like tea spill stuff. Yeah, to this day, I still, like, I won't go into it, but there's people you watch online every day that you don't know nothing about them, honey, okay? Be careful who you watch, okay? Because I have some tea on them, but I'll never say it because they're public people, and I don't want that drama. So, but girl, like, all these people you watch, I know them. Like, I know them. I could read them to fills if I wanted to. But, yeah, so, and that's why I don't mess with them. I'm like, I don't care if you have 2 million, 4 million subscribers. Like, I don't F with you, girl or boy, because, yeah, you're pretty effed up. So, moving on, oh gosh, like, you have no idea what I've been through. You have no freaking clue, and you don't want to know. So, yeah, so this person was telling my viewers about those people, and I'm like, now they're gonna find out that I know, or like that I told this person about them. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna go all over the blogs, all over the, like, gossip sites. So I was like freaking the freak out. And so I call her and I'm like cussing her out on the phone. I'm like, you have no right to tell these people our business that we have discussed at one point. You fake. Like, I went off, and then she started yelling at me, and that's the first time she yelled at me. I was like, oh snap. You know, like 4 years in, finally she's like exposing a side of her she never like showed. So I'm like, you ruined my career. You're telling these people all this stuff about me. I had millions of people watching me a month, and you're telling everyone. I said everything on my mind. Like, I went off. I'm like, I'm gonna sue you. Like, you're responsible for damages, for what's it called when someone talks about you and it's not true. I'm gonna take you to court. Like, I said all this stuff. I'm like, I'm like, I'm gonna get you for every penny you're worth. I'm gonna make sure you never can say another word about me again. Like, I went off. I probably would have done that if she lived in the same state or country. Like, I probably would have done that because it was some serious damage she caused. And then now other people are coming to me in the comments thinking like I said something that wasn't true and affecting my reputation, my career, my business, you know. And so I'm like, wow, this was the worst. I said, you were the worst decision ever. You were the worst friend ever. You were the worst idea ever. Like, I wish I never reached out to you when you first messaged me. I said everything I've been feeling for the last few years. And then we finally calmed down, and I'm like, okay, it's not your fault. I just was mad. I got in the heat of the moment, and I felt bad. Like, I felt bad after. I was like, you know what? Maybe I am the horrible person, and maybe this is why I was, you know, getting canceled this year and, you know, saying a bunch of nonsense. But, like, I lost it. Like, seriously, you guys, at that point, like, I had such a split mind. By the end of 2017, I was already mentally clocked out and, like, not the old Tony anymore. So the new Tony comes in, who's more peaceful and more loving and kind and stuff like that. that was the day after the car wreck, and yeah, again, in the heat of the moment, it was not right, but I blamed her for it because I'm gonna say the dead honest truth, she did distract me. Like, people were like, you're blaming her. No. She did kind of distract me. Like, it's very true. I'm not joking with you. I take accountability for not braking on time, but fact is fact, she distracted me, so she made me, the whole car ride back home from the beach, she made me look another way. She kept pointing to objects and saying, like, oh, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, and diverting my eyes from the roadway. And when I wouldn't look, she'd be like, look. So I'm like, oh, fine. And I looked, and that one split second I looked, and then she's like, look, watch out. And then I'm like, oh, like, so, yeah, it happened so fast. I don't even know what happened. I think I, like, dissociated there as well. And, bam, like, I couldn't brake on time because there were, like, 3 cars in front that, like, broke really fast. And not only that, you guys, that year, this is why that year was, like, a nightmare. The case to resolve what happened took 6 months, so I couldn't get my money to buy a new car in exchange for that totaled car, because it got totaled in that accident for 6 months, and I was without a car the first month. I had to, like, rent a car, and then, like, it was horrible, or just get, like, Ubers and stuff. It was horrible. So again, I just wanted to, like, make it very clear, like, because every time I tried to bring it up, people would always discredit me and be like, oh, you're blaming her for that. I'm not blaming anyone, honey, but I do say that, yes, I was distracted. For that split second, I was distracted, but I did everything in my power to brake on time, but I couldn't. And so, you know, she was like, oh, you know, why are you blaming me for this and stuff like that? And I'm like, I'm not blaming you. You did distract me, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that. You really did. And then, you know, like, but I don't want you to feel guilty about it, because it's still me driving, right? Like, I didn't have to look away, but you kept saying, look, so I'm like, okay, oh my god, like, I'm gonna look. I didn't expect 3 cars in front of me to all of a sudden brake. Like, how could I predict that, you know, in that split second? So she's like, yeah, I get it, fair enough. But I'm like, okay, well, fair enough now, but if I go saying that online, they're gonna, like, cancel me for saying that, because it's fact. Like, to this day, I'm still wondering, like, why people were so sensitive about it, because it was fact. Like, that's what happened. Like, I was distracted. Like, that was the cause, you know. Even the people who did the case, they know that's why that happened, you know. But it wasn't my fault. It was actually the person way in the front fault, because he broke way too fast, and that caused the other 2 people behind him to brake really fast. And then on top of that, the girl in front of me blamed me that I hurt her back and neck. And I'm like, girl, bye. Like, I knew right away she was lying. They caught her lying, so she had to end up paying for her own damages. And the guy behind me was a hit and run, so he left. We could never find him or get his information or catch him on camera, so it was a nightmare, guys. It was. And then the guy in the wavefront, he just bought his car brand new. Hell, it was hell. So you see why I went crazy. Like, I literally have been going through all of this that year, and then that happened to be the year where people were like, oh, I'm gonna stop watching your videos or whatever because of this and that. I'm like, what have you? I'm like, whatever. At this point, I'm like, I don't even care anymore, because, like, no matter what I said at the time, even in vlogs, like, nothing I said would have been right, because I wasn't in the right mental space, because I've been going through so much stress. At the time, I wish I had the opportunity to take a break, but something happened with family, and we needed, like, all to just get together in one house and make it happen fast. So I barely just saved enough money at the time, and I was working really hard on top of that to save up for a down payment. So I made it a goal to do it in, like, 2 years, and I did, thankfully. And I had to pay my taxes and stuff like that. I remember at the time it was like, I was 23 years old, and I spent like $30,000 on the down payment, that taxes, and the move, like that, in like 1 month. And because I'm like, yeah, you know, maybe I didn't treat her that fairly at the time, you know, like, in a sense, like, I put her through so much that it's like, you know, I think she was also mentally done with me as well, but what she really wanted always was a boyfriend. So she finally found that. It was like some random Albanian dude looking for citizenship or whatever, and like, I don't know, like, my intuition was always a little off about him, but I won't go into that, because, like, I've been so used, so I always think, like, oh, like, he's just gonna use her or whatever, but anyway, so, but they seem happy, they're married, whatever, so, and then so I was like, you know, like, she wasn't happy for me in my life, and, like, all I've done, like, why should I be happy for her? So I just felt some type of way, but I'm like, whatever. And then, I remember we did talk about, pregnancy, because I did want a child at the time also. I'm glad I didn't, but, you know, I decided to bring it up again, and she's like, oh, why are you bringing it up now? And I'm like, oh, I thought this is what you wanted. And she's like, no, I have a partner now, like, I would rather with him than with you. And then I'm like, oh my god. And then I literally just blocked her. Like, and then she blocked me for the first time ever. She finally blocked me, and I was like, that was my way of realizing, like, oh, she's so done with me. And I think I looking back, I'm like, it was unconscious. I did that on purpose. Obviously I didn't want to child with her. I just said that on purpose to get her to, like, you know, flee from my life, because I was just so done with her. I'm like, and the reason I did that, I'll tell you why, is because once she got this partner, it was the strangest thing ever. They met online. He flew in to meet her, like, 3-hour plane ride. And, like, as soon as they met, they started dating. I'm like, weren't you gonna give him more time to get to know you, or you to get to know him? It was really weird to me. I'm like, I can't just, like, meet someone and then start dating them. It doesn't make sense. But whatever, I guess there is such a thing as love at first sight, whatever. And I'm like, okay, as long as she's happy, you know, she met someone she really wanted, whatever. And that's not necessarily, like, what I want in my life. So, like, we're on different pages, right? So she started, like, shying away from me. She started messaging me less. She always made excuses, like, oh, I'm busy with this, I have to work, or I'm still broke. And that's when she started asking me for money again. I'm like, girl, like, I bought her a new computer, I remember, a new dress, new shoes, makeup, countless times paid her credit cards, gave her money. I remember I gave her, like, in 2016, I gave her $500 cash when I went on a trip to go see her, because I felt bad. I was like, well, she's financially destitute, so, you know, so I was just like, wow, you know, just always helping people, but never getting it back in return. And then on top of that, like, this person basically, again, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened the way it did, because, I would have been, like, horribly miserable if it went in another timeline. So I feel like I had to meet this person so she would stop things from progressing for me too quickly, because I would have been unhappy. And so for that, I thank her, but I also thank her for the lessons and experience and for the growth. I would never have a friendship like that again, but I did feel kind of abandoned and betrayed after a while, because she just totally, like, almost ignored me. Like, it would take, like, weeks to hear back from her, and it'd always be the same excuse, like, yeah, I'm with my now boyfriend, they're living with me, which I also found really weird. Like, whoa, that was fast. They, you know, I'm working and stuff. I'm like, I was almost like, B-word, like, I'm working two full-time jobs, like, dating at the time too. I'm like, I have time to talk to you, you don't have time to talk to me, like, really? Okay, LOL, laugh out loud, like, yeah, okay. And then I see you online, like, still having time to, like, play games and, like, take pictures of yourself. Like, I'm like, okay, this is really weird. So, yeah, I kind of get the hint after a while, so that's why I purposely messaged her. I was like, yeah, I want a baby now. Like, I was just trying to scare her away, like, acting crazy. And then she's just like, whatever. And they started talking about Jesus, and she blocked me. Like, yeah, I went full blown, like, troll. Like, troll. I guess I was bitter. I felt some type of way. But yeah, this was years and years ago. Like, looking back, I can't believe, like, that happened. But you see why I had to, like, not talk about this until much later time. Because it was messed up. Like, I was messed up. They were messed up. We were both messed up. Like, nobody wins. The people who wanted to, like, cancel me at the time were messed up as well. about me, to my viewers, about me behind my back and our secret private stuff. You're 40 freaking 4 or 5 years old. Grow up. I told her, I was like, I'm 20 at the time, what, 3? I would never do that to you. I would never think to do that. And she's like, oh, shut up. Okay, I get it. I know I'm a grown woman. I'm like, oh my god. It was a mess. It was a nightmare. But I realized why she was hurt, because of all that we went through in our friendship. And, you know, nobody won. At the end of the day, nobody won. It just caused damage. It caused nothing, but it put some of my viewers at the time through just, like, they were crazy. Like, they were emailing me, like, nonstop. Yeah, like, nasty messages. I was like, oh my god. So, yeah, so again, I don't blame her. I don't blame her for anything. I blame myself for putting myself through those situations and for putting myself through things I couldn't handle, obviously. And at the end of the day, what happened. It was years ago. It was another person. It was another me. I let it go. I forgive and let go of everyone who, you know, tried to, at the time, wish for my downfall or wish me ill will or bad, or send me bad messages. They were going through clearly their own mental health issues too at the time, so I was attracting nothing but that because I was going through that, you know. So you attract who you are, so like I was not at a peaceful place. I didn't even know what peace was. If you were to tell me what peace was at the time, I don't know. So that's how much of a disturbance. And it was a nightmare, and it was a different world, and it's not who I am anymore. And looking back, yeah, I could have handled things much differently, for sure. But ask a spoiled 22-something-year-old to handle things. Looking back, like, yeah, like, nah, good luck with that. So, I had my blonde hair, and, you know, a big ego. I thought it was something I was not, and I was trying to do that to compensate, you know, for a lack of, I guess, certain love early on. And I put them through a lot. And again, I take full accountability for that, for having put them through a lot as they put me through a lot as well. It was both ways, you know. And everyone was always like trying to victimize her and be like, oh yeah, she's such a sweet, innocent person. But like, you guys don't know her either. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about private stuff, but no, she's not sweet and innocent. I will tell you that much. Okay, just like I was not, for sure. Nobody is, alright? Nobody's the victim here, okay? Nobody wins, like I said. So I finally got to speak my truth and my piece. And, yeah. I'm glad I could do that now, from a point where, like, most people don't even know who this is or what I'm talking about. Because, like, if I were to talk about it then, it was just a nightmare having to, like, remove and block so many comments and stuff like that. So I wish them all out. I wish they're truly happy, and I mean it truly, and not suffering, because, yeah, they suffered even long after our friendship, like, for a long time with this person. I won't even go into it. They just on and off, like, and they would even ask me about relationship advice, and I'm like, what do I know about relationship advice? But, you know, I was still, again, trying to help them, even after everything that I did and they did, still being the nice guy, still trying to help them through things. So I'm glad God kind of like finally parted us and let go of us. But who knows, maybe one day, if they ever, you know, break up or something or whatever, they might want to go back and talk to me again. Who knows? No hard feelings. Would I want to reach out? Probably not, but maybe one day I'm at a place where I'm so at peace, I'm indifferent, and yeah, maybe. But for now, it's nothing. But yeah, that explains it, why I was so agitated during that video and like in that vibration. And yeah, you guys remember that. A lot of people commented about it and were like, yeah, why is this? That's why. Okay, it was the day after the wreck, and I was so tired, and I was just not in the mood, and I'm like, I have to make a video, so I made it, that one, and it happened to get so many views, and I'm like, oh my god, like, why did I do this video? But looking back again, that was years ago. No hard feelings at all. I forgive myself. I forgive them. It's totally let go, and that's why I wanted to make this video in a place where I'm like totally let go. I'm just talking about it like it's a storybook. That's all. Like, it's not even here. It's not even reality these videos are a way to help me, like, just get it out on paper, so to speak. So it's not just, like, sitting in my mind anymore. Not that I think of this person, I really don't. Like, I haven't thought of them in, like, months, to be honest with you. But, I don't know, in a weird way, I just want to, like, put it here so I don't put it here. Do you know what I mean? Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I was a horrible person at the time. Like, really immature, really, just, like, looking back, I want to slap my past self in the face. Like, I really do, because I was not, like, even looking back on old videos, I'm like, oh, who is this person, you know? So, I'm, like, weirded out by them. But, yeah, I learned a lot in that time, and, realized, I guess, what we're capable of and who we really are and what we really want in our life. And, you know, something may appear perfect on the outside. We even started our own business together online. Some of you remember that. And then I was the one who said, no more. I don't want to do this anymore. I wanted other things. And that kind of made us grow apart even more, because they wanted to keep doing it. But, you know, a big reason I did it was because they kind of needed the money at the time, and I was like, okay, you know, maybe there's something we both can do together and get creative about. And we've been discussing it for a long time before that too, how we can do, like, a business together and get creative. But I just wasn't feeling passionate about it anymore, and I didn't want to lie to them and say, like, I want to keep going with this business. I don't want to do that anymore, you know. So it just made us grow apart even more. So that's that. But I do believe everything was meant to happen for a reason. I do not feel guilty or sorry about anything that happened. It had to happen, and I'm glad it happened, because I definitely don't want to be famous. I definitely don't want to have millions of eyes on me and have too much money to know what to even do with, and have fake friendships. Like, that's the path I would have been on if I never met this person. And I'm glad it kind of was, like, in a weird way, disrupted. So that never happened. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for having had a friendship that long, for the lessons, for the wisdom I got from them, and I'm grateful to have helped them. And now they're, like, in such a better position. I mean, they went from breaking up with their partner of 16 years to, like, the worst place in their life, and really, like, in a bad place in all avenues, to having a married partner, living with them, and getting a job, and finishing their school, and doing better. So, like, you know, the miracle a few years can make. And, you know, I'm glad to be there to have helped them through that time. Again, I like helping people, you know, and I still reminisce sometimes on the good memories and look back, like, my 20s, and I spent half of my 20s pretty much on this person. Yeah, so they meant a lot to me, clearly, at the time. And sometimes still do. Sometimes I still think of them. Sometimes I still feel like there's unfinished business, but for now, it's what it is, and I'm at peace, and, you know, nothing but nice words to say about them, because it was so long ago. I'm just so indifferent right now. I just could care less about any of the bad stuff that happened. I'm just like, whatever. Like, it doesn't even affect my life anymore. Thank you, Jesus. So